I never thought clearing out my dead grandpa's garage would show me a side of him I wish I never saw. It still messes me up. Hey, my name is Leland Voss. This all went down last year after my grandpa Harlan passed. He had a modest ranch house in Grant Park, Illinois, not too far from Chicago. It was a simple place with a big garage full of his tools and junk. The family picked me to clean it out since I was closest and had some time off work. I figured it would be easy, just sort stuff and throw away what we didn't need. I got there early on a Wednesday. The drive was okay, but I stopped at a drive-thru for some breakfast sandwiches. The house looked the same as always, quiet neighborhood trees in the yard. Grandpa liked to sit on the porch. I went straight to the garage because it was the messiest part. Plus the floorboards in the house creaked loud when I walked through to get some boxes, just like they did when I was a kid visiting. In the garage, it smelled like oil and old wood. I started moving things around. There were stacks of old car parts and boxes with clothes from Grandma. I found some photos of the family from years back. That made me smile for a minute. Grandpa was always quiet, but he loved us in his own way. I remembered how he used to let me help him fix the lawnmower. I had forgotten my work gloves in the truck, so my hands got all dirty from the dust right away. The old radio on the shelf still worked, and I turned it on low for some background noise. After a bit, I heard this strange scraping noise from the corner under the workbench. I stopped and listened close. Oh, it happened one more time, then nothing. I told myself it was probably a raccoon or the wind, but it gave me a weird feeling. I kept working, but I looked over there every few minutes. I almost decided to leave the garage for another day. I mean, I had plenty of time, but I pushed on. The fan I plugged in kept clicking every so often, which made the quiet parts feel longer. I needed to move the workbench to get behind it. It was heavy, but I got it shifted. That's when I saw something odd on the floor. There was a seam in the concrete that looked too straight, like someone cut it on purpose. I knelt down and touched it. My hands got dirty. I thought about ignoring it. Who puts a door in the garage floor? It didn't make sense. But I grabbed a tool and pried at the edge. It lifted up, and under it was a false floor and stairs going down into a small concrete room. I grabbed my flashlight from the truck. The stairs were steep and narrow. The air down there was cool and smelled bad, like it was closed up for a long time. I went slow. The room was small, maybe 8 feet wide. Concrete walls, no windows. On one side, there were coils of thick rope hanging. They looked strong. Then I saw some old bottles on a shelf. The labels said chloroform. They were dusty and old-looking. What the hell was all this for? Then I noticed a black ledger on a little table. I picked it up and opened it. The pages had dates, license plate numbers, and notes about cars parked on the street in front of the house. Grandpa had been writing this for years. Some entries went back decades. I flipped through and saw plates I knew, and one was from Aunt Lavinia's blue van. She drove that when she visited for Thanksgiving in 2018. Another matched Uncle Cormac's truck from a family barbecue. There was even one for Aunt Callista's car and Uncle Garrick's old sedan when they came over. My hands felt cold as I kept reading. Why was he tracking all these cars, especially family ones? Then I got to the last page. It had my name. Leland Voss, scheduled to clean house on March 15th. That was the exact day I was there. Grandpa knew I would find this room. He wrote instructions below it. If the wrong person opens the room, burn everything inside and seal it up tight. Do not ask questions. For me, he said to keep the family secrets safe. I said shit out loud without thinking. This was too strange. Grandpa planned for me to see this even after he was gone, and I sat there a minute trying to make sense of it. The ropes and bottles didn't look good. And the ledger with all those plates, including ours. Did the family know about this room? They sent me here alone. Maybe they stayed silent about whatever Grandpa was doing all those years. I climbed out quick and put the false floor back exactly like it was. I moved the workbench over it and cleaned up any marks. I finished the rest of the garage, but my mind was not on the work. Every little noise made me pause. That night when I got home, I forgot I had left some dishes in the sink. The kitchen smelled a bit off, but I didn't care. I just sat there thinking. In the next few weeks, I got a call from Uncle Garrick. He asked how the cleaning went and if I found anything out of the ordinary. Well, his voice seemed normal, but now I wonder. I didn't tell him a thing. The house sold soon after. I hope the new owners never find that room. But knowing Grandpa expected me to discover it makes me paranoid about the whole family. Some secrets were never meant to be opened, and now I have to live with this one. I still check the street at night sometimes, just in case. Some deals feel too good to be true. Ours was. And by the time we figured that out, there were strangers watching our bedroom window from the street. My wife Zalara and I had been renting a 2-bedroom apartment near Decatur for almost 4 years. We were tired. Tired of the landlord. Tired of thin walls. Tired of paying someone else's mortgage. So when we found that listing on Glenwood Avenue in East Atlanta, right off the Beltline Trail, we didn't think twice. The price was stupid low. I mean, embarrassingly low for that area. The realtor, this guy named Pruitt, told us the previous owner had some family emergency and basically vanished. Left furniture behind and everything. That should have been our first sign. But we were excited, you know? First house. We closed in like 3 weeks. Yeah, we picked up Red Bulls from the Kroger on Moreland Avenue and stayed up 2 nights straight, just painting the living room. Zalara kept playing the same playlist on her phone. Bruno Mars, I think. We were happy, genuinely happy. The first month was just regular renovation stuff. Dusty, exhausting, kind of fun. Until I pulled up the old carpet in the back bedroom. There was a loose floorboard under the padding near the closet. I wouldn't have even noticed it, except my knee hit it wrong, and it shifted. I pried it up, thinking maybe there was water damage underneath. Instead, there was a metal lockbox. Gray, the size of a shoebox, not locked. Inside were printed photographs, dozens of them, all taken from the street outside. Our house. Different times of day, different seasons over the past year or so. And underneath the photos, folded notebook paper with handwritten notes. Our closing date was circled in red ink on one of them. I just sat there on the floor for a while. I didn't call Zalara in right away. I don't know why. I just sat there holding these photos of our own house like an idiot. That night, around 11, I noticed a car idling out front. Silver sedan. No lights on. Just sitting there. I watched it from the upstairs window for almost 20 minutes before it finally drove off slow. Like no reason to rush slow. Next morning it was parked 2 houses down. We called Pruitt. He told us he didn't know anything about any previous issues. Said the seller had just relocated. Then he stopped returning our calls. The notes started showing up under the doormat maybe 2 weeks later. Block letters, much no handwriting you could trace. Said stuff like, "Leave what doesn't belong to you," and "You know what's inside." We didn't know anything. That was the terrifying part. We had no idea what they thought we had. Then Zalara's cousin, who works in a county office in Fulton, found something online. A federal case. The guy who sold us the house had been running some kind of identity theft operation out of the basement. Credit cards, social security numbers, bank accounts. Dozens of victims across Georgia and Tennessee. He skipped town right before the feds moved in. The people he stole from thought their documents and money were still hidden somewhere in our walls. And they had been watching the place the whole time we thought we got a deal. We called the Atlanta Police Department, filed a report. Well, they sent someone out, took the lockbox, took the photos, told us to document everything. That did basically nothing for how we felt at night. Every sound in that house became something. The floorboards in the hallway, the way the kitchen pipes knocked after midnight, the motion sensor light in the backyard that kept triggering on nothing. Zalara started sleeping with her phone in her hand. I started sleeping with a flashlight under my pillow like that made any sense. We never got more than maybe 2 hours straight after that, just lying there listening. We moved out 4 months later, stayed with Zalara's mom in Lithonia while we figured things out. Left most of the furniture because we didn't want to be in that house long enough to load a truck properly. But I still don't know if they ever found what they were looking for in the walls. Part of me thinks whatever it wasn't in the house at all. That maybe the whole thing was something else. I don't know what that means exactly. I just know that some nights I still catch myself listening for a car engine sitting too long outside. And I always check under the doormat now, every single time. The first knock was so soft I almost ignored it, and that tiny sound ended up ruining my whole night. My name is Joran Vask, and I lived with my wife, Sienna, in a small apartment off Ponce de Leon Avenue in Atlanta. She worked nights at a hospital, so most evenings I stayed home alone, watching TV or cleaning things twice because I had too much time. That Tuesday, I had dishes in the sink, a half-finished pizza box on the counter, and a lamp in the living room that kept flickering. Around 11, I heard 3 slow knocks at the front door. I walked over, looked through the peephole, and saw nothing. The hallway was empty except for a broken exit sign and carpet that always smelled a little damp. I waited for footsteps or a voice. Nothing. 10 minutes later, it started again. 3 slow knocks. Pause. 2 fast knocks. I said, "Nope," even though nobody could hear me. I turned off the kitchen and living room lights and sat on the floor behind the couch with my phone in my hand. Then the knocking moved to the side window. Same pattern. 3 slow. Pause. 2 fast. I looked at the blinds, but they were shut, and I did not have the nerve to open them. I texted Sienna, "Someone is knocking. Call me now." She answered fast and told me to call the police. I told her I would, but first I kept listening, because fear makes you sit there like an idiot, hoping the problem will explain itself. Next, it came from the back door near the laundry room. 3 slow. Pause. 2 fast. I got up and grabbed a metal bat I kept near the closet. I felt ridiculous holding it, but I held it anyway, and I called 911 with the bat in one hand and the phone in the other. The woman on the line asked my address twice because I kept stumbling over it. My mouth felt dry. I told her somebody was outside and maybe in the walls. She stayed calm. By the time the police arrived, the knocking had stopped. 2 officers checked the doors, windows, stairwell, and basement entry. One of them shined a light under the back steps. Another asked if I had heard voices. I said no. They found nothing and left. I stayed awake on the couch until morning, lights on, TV muted, bat across my legs. Sienna came home at 7 and found me still dressed. I told her everything, and she kept saying maybe it was kids, maybe a neighbor, maybe the building settling. She tried to sound calm, but I could tell she was not buying it either. Well, the next night, at exactly 11, it started again. 3 slow knocks. I was in the kitchen drinking warm water from a mug because I forgot to make coffee. I just stared at the front door. Then the pattern came again. Pause. Too fast. This time it moved around the apartment faster, from front door to side window to back door, like whoever was doing it knew the place, like they were testing me. Once I heard it in the wall beside the couch. Then, after a long minute of silence, I heard it from the hallway closet. 3 slow, pause. Too fast. I backed into the bathroom and locked the door. I sat on the edge of the tub and waited, holding my phone so hard my hand hurt. The knocks kept going, not loud but steady, patient. At one point I heard breathing outside the bathroom door, and just enough to make me stop moving. Then I heard something worse, a knock from inside the bathroom wall, right beside my head. I made a damn stupid noise, half shout, half gasp, and dropped my phone. The flashlight clicked on and rolled across the tile. In that second of light, I saw the gap under the door. A shadow passed over it. Slow, close. I did the only thing I could think of. I opened the bathroom window, which faced a narrow air shaft, and climbed halfway out onto the little ledge outside. I do not even know why I did it. It just felt better than staying inside. The police came back after I called again. They searched every floor, the basement, the crawl space, even the alley behind the building. Nothing. No one. A week later, I noticed something that still gets to me. But the knocks always started at 11, exactly 11. That meant somebody was watching our building long enough to know Sienna's schedule, long enough to know when I would be alone. We moved out before the month ended. I still hear those knocks sometimes when the apartment I live in now gets too quiet. 3 slow, pause, too fast. And every time I remember how certain I was that the person on the other side was not guessing at all.